The ministry of Yeshua, start of his earthly ministry and his first claim as Messiah. In ancient times, especially during the 1st century, the Jews had the dual methods, that is, written and oral practices, to keep or preserve the Torah. The written practice was to keep the Torah in the form of scrolls, and the oral practices by assigning the families to remember them orally, the portions of it. The standardized listing Torah portions that consist of the first 5 books of the Bible, that is Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, also known as the Book of Moses, including half Torah portions that consists of the books of the prophets and writings, were read in the synagogue each week. Why did Yeshua come to attend the Sabbath in Nazareth during his ministry? As stated in John chapter 1, verse 28, after baptism in Bethabara beyond Jordan, Yeshua being tempted and fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. After this, Yeshua started his earthly ministry in Galilee, and initially made his base at Capernaum. This can be referred in Matthew chapter 4, verses 12 to 13, Mark chapter 1, verse 14, Luke chapter 4, verse 14. However, when the turn of Yeshua's family come to represent the Torah, half Torah portions in the synagogue of Nazareth, Yeshua came from Capernaum to Nazareth to discharge the responsibility of the family. His family was assigned to keep the half Torah portions of prophet Isaiah. Why did eyes of everyone in the synagogue of Nazareth were fastened on him when he sit down? In ancient times, especially during the 1st century, the Jews had a practice about keeping a seat at the front of each synagogue. This was known as the seat of Moses, only used by the rabbi of that synagogue, and it was believed that this is where the Messiah, who also known as the second Moses, would sit. This was the seat of authority and prominence in the synagogue. This can be referred in Matthew chapter 23, verse 2. After reading the scripture, Yeshua sat in that seat that is in the seat of Moses, and doing so, he declared himself the Messiah, and the eyes of everyone in the synagogue were fastened on him. So from this action of Yeshua itself, people started reacting among themselves before making any statement by Yeshua. In the synagogue, after 2 readings of the scripture, the reader was given the opportunity to make comments about the text that had just been read, also known as Devar Torah. It is similar to a sermon or talk from the pulpit as practiced in churches today. Remember that after reading, Yeshua gave the scroll to the minister and sat down, which can be referred in Luke chapter 4, verse 20, then proceeds to the Devar Torah and declared himself as Messiah out of his mouth. Thus, by both his words and his actions, Yeshua was saying that he was the Messiah. But people of Nazareth didn't accept him. This can be referred in chapter 4, verses 21 to 28. They rose up and thrust him out of the city, and led him unto the brow of the hill, whereon their city was built, that they might cast him down headlong, which can be referred in Luke chapter 4, verse 29.